Yes, we do. We have this session on email marketing, and email marketing is still rocketing or rocking strategy, is a still rocking strategy rather, if used in a right manner. Myth or absolute truth? And we are to discuss this. We have Roland Stephenson from Jamaica, who will be joining the panel discussion along with Gabriela Gonzalez. So this should be a very interesting discussion for sure.
So it has been one of my top products that has worked very well because as a part of my different product line, I do offer web development and web design, and offer other relative services. But the email aspect of it has been it has been very fruitful and it has been very impactful, and it has been the clients that I do market for has seen very good returns from it. And I do offer the solution because I do have a software called InTouch, similar to MailChimp. I know you may be familiar with MailChimp and Constant Contact and all that stuff. Well, it's similar to that, and I've always encouraged my clients to actually collect emails because to me, I strongly believe email is one of the best form of marketing to your existing clients. It's a hand-on effect. It has been one of the oldest form of social marketing. In my opinion, is the best, and it's best in the sense that it's the best way to reach your clients directly and to talk to them. All right. So pretty much, I don't know who I'm going to debate with on that topic, but that's a little summary.
All right. Alrighty. So at this time, we're bringing back in Gabriela Gonzalez Escamilla. She will be presenting as well. I'm assuming that the person who you're having this discussion with in terms of whether or not it is actually a strategy that is still relevant. So she's here joining us now. Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm Gabriela, as you guys say. Thank you for being here. And Ronald, nice to meet you. I'm from Mexico. Right now, I live in Mexico City. So where I work is called RD Station. It's a marketing automation platform. The origin of the company was born in Brazil. It has 6 years. So basically, we have 13,000 clients, 80% in Brazil, and I'm in charge of the international expansion. So a little bit of about me. I've lived abroad in 5 countries. Brazil was the sixth one. And when I got there, I started learning about digital marketing, email marketing, automation, everything that the platform has. I worked in consultancy, so I had the first international clients. Then I worked in content and I worked in events. And now I've been here for almost a year, expanding and opening the office in Mexico. So I know a lot about email marketing because I've done a lot of consultancy with the clients, but I think the most important is that I send campaigns every day. So I know a lot about hacks and tips, what you can use about spam. So I'm really excited to be sharing a little bit of these last 3 years that I've been
So let's get
working.
into it. And I mean, I'll toss this one over to Ronald because since you've hailed email marketing as a proven strategy to use, Ronald, we say here the title goes, it's still a rocking strategy if used in the right manner. What is the right manner versus using it
Well,
in
the
another way?
right manner is actually if you have a physical brick and mortar store, it's very important for you to ask your customers permission to send them updates on various promotions that you may have. This is the most affordable way of direct marketing to them. So when they get your email, they don't look at it as a spam, but they look at it as some welcoming message.
Okay, and you say get their permission, meaning,
Just before you telling them that the purpose why I'm taking your email is to send you our specials that we have, weekly specials, or any form of promotion that we may have in the near future.
okay. Gabriela, I didn't get from you your position on email marketing. Out of the years that you've used it, do you find that it's still a rocking strategy, yes or no? And talk to me about the correct or right manner to use it.
Sure. So right now I work in international expansion. I'm opening the office in Mexico. But I've learned a lot about email marketing because we send a lot of campaigns for events and for our leads. So I wanted to say, complementing what Ronald said, it's very important to send an email with permission. So whether you either go to a person and ask them for your email, or if you're working with a landing page that is basically like a website with the form, or either you have a chatbot or any type of form, it's very important for you to ask or basically let them know that you're gonna send them an email. So very important to have the permission of them, and secondly, be very personalized. So what I'm saying about why being personalized, I'm the type of person that receives like 150 emails per day. And most of them are from companies, and most of them are like spams or things that I haven't really subscribed. So one of the tips that I'm gonna say is don't work with database that are bought. Sometimes it seems like it's a really good deal. I'm gonna buy a database and then I'm gonna send some emails and get some new clients. You can do that, but you're gonna lose your time, because basically the people haven't given you permission, so they basically don't know you. So the first one would be like, don't use that database, because you're not gonna get any results or very few results. And if you wanna see the return of the investment, it's gonna be very hard. So just complementing what Ronald said, permission is very important, and personalization is also second very important thing. It's very different if I'm Gabriela Gonzalez, send you an email saying, do you want to learn something more about digital marketing, than RD Station sending you an email about learning from digital marketing. So very important. And I'm just going to give you an example. If you have a landing page or if you have a form, and if it's a newsletter, it's very different if the CMO or the CEO sends an email saying, welcome to our company, I'm going to send you news, I'm going to send you blog posts about this certain product, this certain service, than just sending an email about anything, or even like a product, a discount, or like a direct offer. So it's very different, the experience. I think it's very important to think about we're dealing with people. We're not dealing with contacts. We're not dealing with like computers. We're dealing with humans. So ask yourself what kind of email you want to receive. So that's a little bit about how I say that email marketing still works if used in the right manner, personalization, permission. And I think it's very important, because some of the people, when you say, hey, do you work with email marketing? They say like, no, that's spam. And it's very easy to think that, because we have like, you can see my
you still with us?
inbox and there's a lot. But if you use it in the right manner with the right people, it's going to work. So
How
it's very
can we
important to
certainly
say.
identify about or get the permission? Like when we talk about trying to identify on the permission, uh, yeah, like, is there a way that we can filter that?
Yeah, so if you've ever been on a website, you may find some website ask you to subscribe, and you'll just normally just put in the information and click subscription. Most website has a privacy policy on it that speaks very strongly about customer privacy. Since the law has passed in the United States now about privacy policy and how customer information and stuff like that, so a lot of data now is very strict. So you'll see it on website for persons to opt in into your database, and along with persons actually coming into your store and filling out a guest list or a guest book, or they may fill out a electronic medium of accepting emails. So those are the two options, both virtual and physical. And it's very important, as I said, to get it permission based. Not, you may damage your reputation. And in concur with in concurrence with with Gabrielle, is that if you buy a database and you send emails, just buy a database and use your email system to send it out, it may develop a bad reputation with Google, Yahoo, Hotmail, or other servers. So it's very important that you make sure that your IP address is reputable, or else you start landing into the spam box, or you're gonna start getting blocked. Um, so it's very important for that.
All right, Gabriela, do you want to add to that?
No, just to, I think, reinforce the importance of having like the privacy settings, like to be really aware of like what they're getting. You're not
All
hiding
right.
something.
So
And with the new
you
GDPR
say that
rules, I think we have to
we
be
want to
very
remove
careful
people from
because
email
usually
list
they
if they're
make
not opening our email,
a fee
even after
if
sending
you're not
multiple
doing it
times.
correctly. So I think we're in the moment that we have access to everything. Like you can Google basically everything. And if somebody
Um,
discovers that you're not doing
not
things right,
you
you
may, the
can get
subject
a ticket and it could cost you
Yeah,
a lot of
subject line
dollars,
is very
a lot
key.
of thousand
The
dollars.
persons would unsubscribe if they're no longer interested. However, you may have a subject line that is not appealing. So they may actually, either the subject line give too much information, or it's not appealing enough for them to open the mail.
Yeah.
You,
I was just gonna
you go
gonna
first, or I
ask
go
about
first?
personalization. So one of the things that I enjoy with email marketing from companies is when they say, "Hi, Debbie." So it makes me feel as though I'm speaking to somebody who
Yeah.
knows me and knows, what my needs and desires are, and they're addressing me as with
Yeah.
my name. Yeah. How important is that in terms of a strategy when doing email marketing versus "Hi, customer" or "Greetings" or something general like that?
No, it's very important for using the person name.
First.
Name bring a lot more personalization. You could have the name in the subject line. You can have the name in the body of the letter. It gives it a lot more, like, give the impression that you're sending it directly to the person, so they feel more appreciated. That, oh, you took the time out to send me this mail, because it's still a lot of persons still have that impression, not knowing that it's electronic.
Yeah.
you know. But it does to maybe add, because I know that we're both talking both on that it's still a relevant aspect. And I like the tech sides. I mean, I wouldn't mind switching over to the other side.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Play
And
devil's
I
advocate
mean,
for a
although I've
second.
been doing email marketing for '06, I mean, has been one of my strongest points. But in moving forward into the more 21st century, you find that younger persons are connected more to their social network.
Right.
So you find that the Instagram and the Facebook feeds tend to be more direct impacting than the email. So more and more persons checking the email less, in the sense that if you're comparing it to the average time they open their phone and go on a Facebook feed, and they open their phone and go on an Instagram. All right, you following me what I'm saying, right? So, in my opinion, it is more, it is trending now towards that email marketing is still a lot more relevant. Then you find one of the most growing effective way now direct is social form of push notifications.
Yeah, because everybody knows looking down
Yeah,
into the phone
in the
versus.
phone, than
Yeah.
checking their going to Hotmail and checking their email. And they
Right.
tend to check the email either once a day. Some persons check the email every 2 days. Some people once a week. Some persons use it on a weekend and just clear their mailbox on a weekend. So, and then, but you find that they're always on Instagram, they're always on Facebook, they're always on WhatsApp.
Yeah. So with that said, and Gabriela, probably you could chime in here as well. Do you see email marketing becoming less relevant, say in the next 5 years, if so long, because we're growing and evolving
Yeah.
every day? Yeah. So do you find then, because of that growing trend of people using social now to uh, engage with customers, that soon email marketing will really become a thing of the past? Yeah, anyone. Yeah. Gabriela, you want to chime in here?
No, yeah, no, I actually have a lot of answers of the previous questions. So I don't think it's gonna become like less relevant. At the end, everybody has an email, and it's been for more than 5 to 7 years, and there's like 300,000 emails being sent every day. I don't think it's gonna become less relevant, but the customers, the leads, the context that you're talking, your public, they're gonna be more demanding. So it changes. It's not gonna be like, oh, any email with the discount, they're gonna buy you. So that's not the thing. I was just gonna say, with the I think it was the first or second question. When you have a base that it's not as engaged as
Actually,
should be,
Gabriel, yeah, Gabriel, you can continue.
you should clean it. There's a lot of
She actually talked about
tools of
cleaning
data
up
validation as
those who
well.
are not,
If you have
a
10,000
valid
contacts,
person, or I could say, like, maintaining a good reputation through the ESP.
yeah. And also the very important point that you have to do when you're working with email marketing is talking about metrics.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the open rate, the click-through rate, there are two important metrics of your email marketing performance. So if you're not having, I'm going to give you an example now. I have a client in Mexico and they have 50% open rate and they have 10,000 of a database. And I told them you should clean them. And they didn't want to clean it because they don't want to lose context. And I say you're going to have more open rate if you start cleaning your database. It's not bad if you start cleaning it, because then you're going to be all the people that are not engaged with you probably are not interested and they're not opening your emails because of that. So what I was trying to say is, like, you have to measure the performance of your campaigns in order to know your database, and that way you're going to be more engaged. So when you say it's not going to be relevant, it's going to be relevant for the next 5 to 10 years. Even though we have a lot of social media, people are still going to want, like you said, personalized emails. It's very different. And there's basically, when you talk about automation, it's to think in a scalable way. So like if I have 500 leads, I'm not going to send them manually, because now we have platforms where I can import and I can segment and I can send them personalized, even though they don't know it. So very important to not be scared about automation. Like you said, I like having these emails saying, hey, Gabriela, how are you today? You can do that. We have technology to do it. So we have to take advantage of this type of technology and platforms in order to have this type of service. As I say, email is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years, but people are going to be more demanding.
Yeah, it's about
and you have to adapt.
cleaning
You have
up
to
on
do
the
more than you
email
used to do
contacts
in
to maintain the
2018.
Give us
ESP,
a quick synopsis of
to
Gabriela's
maintain on
point.
the good reputation through ESP. Okay, and yeah, adding to your question there with Debbie, Gabriela, or Ronald, if any one of you can answer, like, what do you think would be the email conversion rate that can be expected in the future, maybe in the next 2 years from now, 2019, 2020?
All right. The thing is that where email marketing, where it's going to be in another 5 years, is relative to how social marketing is taking place now, how feeds are happening. Feeds are moving very fast. If there's anything happen now, if there's a good deal, it spreads. Good news, bad news spreads, and it moves very fast. It moves faster than you checking your email, right? So developing a proper campaign, utilize, you have WhatsApp out there, you have so many different means of communicating with customers that it's moving very fast. So I believe that more and more, while the social marketing is becoming more and more integrated within consumers' life, because it's now connected now. They're connected so much with their phones that the first thing you take up your phone, what pops up is a Google ad on your phone, right? So the reality is that you find that there are other means that are superseding just checking your mail. Because I'm just opening a simple app. You see a pop-up promoting Wednesday's jerk at Mother's. I was like, wow, today's Wednesday. Oh, jerk. And it appeals to my taste bud if I feel for jerk. So it going more into the 21st century, you're finding more of these advertising just pop up in your face. You're going to find that less and less persons. Most persons sometimes tell you that they don't even know the password to the email. So that's just the reality. And some persons create email addresses just in order for them to set up an Instagram page, or just because they want to set up a Facebook page. So that is becoming more reality. So email has always been additional consumers, but the new age persons now, the newborns out there now, they're just getting the email just to go and access what they call the social environment.
Questions here.
All right.
So
Raj, do you have any
this
other
is from
questions you'd
Roger.
like to?
What is the way to be a real growth hacker? Yeah, I repeat the question. What is the real growth hacker?
What is the way to be aware? A real good hacker. Growth hacker.
Well, I have friends that tend to hack accounts for fun, but I really can't speak much about. The thing about hacking, especially your own database, exists. Because I've had struggles that persons from different regions trying to hack my servers and attack my email database and hack into persons' social account. So it's relevant, but more and more, you call it sources like Gmail and all these persons are getting very strict on password recovery. And if they suspect that you're logging in from a machine out from a different location, they tend to send you a text message on that, is it you that went logging from this location? Becoming more difficult to hack email accounts and social media accounts, even in today's world. But it's still, persons are still practicing.
Debbie?
All right, Gabriela?
Okay, cool. So the best way to be a growth hacker, for me, it's in the mindset and in the experiments you do. So the difficulty to be on digital nowadays in a company is that sometimes the mindset of the people is very traditional. So you have to have that mindset of being digital and try to do something new. Sometimes it's the hardest thing. And the second thing, it's about doing the experiment. So being in the mindset of a growth hacker, it means that you always want to optimize and you want different results and you want to grow. So you have to do A/B tests and you have to check with your funnel, how can you measure what's happening and then grow either your visits, leads, opportunities. So for me, it's doing tests. At the end, digital marketing is not magic, is not a secret, it's testing. Whether this works or this works, it's gonna be up to you. So it's very important to have this kind of mindset, always growing, always improving, and not being just like, okay, I generate 200 leads and then I'm gonna send them to my sales team.
All right.
And then what happens? So next month I'm gonna be making 300 leads, 400 leads. You always have to have that mindset of growth. So this is my advice.
Is there anybody here who has any questions in regards to email marketing? All the email marketers are okay with what they have now? Oh yeah, good. We have a question here, Raj.
We are 1.5 billion email address and password online right now in clear text that access to the public. So what you guys' perspective on that?
Ronald, do you want to say that?
Well, accessing all that email account doesn't mean that it's going to prove you any good if they're not permission based. The minute you send the first email, your IP address may be blocked.
All right, I have the list, and some of them actually works. Logging in.
So, hold on, you're saying that you've used emails and passwords to access accounts?
I try not use them.
Okay, okay.
You find persons actually randomly create email addresses as well in order to open Instagram pages and Facebook pages and then sell you likes. And that's how it works again. Because, you follow me?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes, as I say, it could just be email accounts that maybe one person may have, maybe there's just 5 persons own that million emails.
All right, I just listened to what he was asking and I couldn't help but thinking about the risk of somebody sending you an email that you don't know. And when this happens, what you do is simply try not to respond to it. That's the first thing, if you don't know whom it's coming from. And if you do, then it's best to also find out from the sender if they had actually sent the message first.
So you're saying pick their brains to see if who the person appears to be is actually that person.
Exactly, because if this information is available online, as he has mentioned, then we as persons who would receive emails and read it should be more cautious in terms of what we read and how we go about responding to these emails.
Especially those emails that will come in asking for financial engagement, I'm sure.
Especially those are the ones that come from one of those countries that we.
Let's not do that,
Yes.
right? No. But I hear your point with
Yes,
no.
so just adding to what he said, that just popped out. So
Yeah, it's a very good point. Very, very good point. Thank you for that. Steve, you still have your question. He's behind you. Is our camera able to pick up Steve? Yes? Of course.
Hey, afternoon, everyone. All right, so I have a question. Well, it's actually a two-part question. How many emails are too many emails?
I was going to ask that.
Right? For example, if I have a database of 1,000 clients, do I send them an email a day, an email a week? How many emails are too many? That is number one. And two, how is it that can you suggest any form of strategy that will allow the recipients to participate? Because what I find happening, when I manage my database, we send out mails, but not a lot of persons are responding. So we send out campaigns and trying to get a feedback. You know, what I realize, and I do it myself, I will get mails from a lot of these corporate entities, and I read it halfway, and I don't feel like responding. I don't want to. So is there any strategy that can be employed in order to have persons, the recipients responding? One, and two, how many emails are too many?
All right, and I'm hoping that Gabriela is still with us so she can also chime in here from an international perspective as well. All right, so Stephen?
There's no too much emails. So you can always subscribe to any of the email providers out there, because there are a lot of them. And they have different price ranges and tier based on your subscriber list. For example, I have 50,000 subscribers onto my virtual mall platform, and I send 100,000 emails daily. Right? So it's relevant. So I would suggest that there's not too much, long as it's permission based. Your subscribers are aware that your way of sending mails is once a day, once a week, once every month. Long as they're okay with it, then you're fine. If they're not okay with it, they're unsubscribed, they're put into spam, you'll have IP issues, and you'll have a bad reputation. All right? How you get more persons opening your mail, which is the second point, how you make persons feel to read more, is to make your email body more relevant. You may just do a nice newsletter. You know, if it's a company email blast they're sending out, make it, when they open it up, make it look attractive, make it look easy to read, stuff like that.
Okay. All right, that answered the question, Steve? Yeah. All right, Gabriela?
Okay. So for me, it depends on the objective of the you're sending. Okay. So if the objective of the email is to send content and it's to download it, then what we do is like once a week we send it. If it's like a discount or a promotion, or it definitely depends on what the objective of the email is. So I would ask you first, what type of email are you sending? Because for me, there is too many emails. Like I get from the same company 3 or 4 per week, and for me that's too much. So for example, if it's Mother's Day or if it's Father's Day, then it makes sense 2 weeks earlier to send an anticipation email of this product that's gonna be on sale. That makes sense. But if you send 2 or 3 times a week the same promotion every week, people are gonna get really sick of you. Because I've had it, I've seen it. So it depends on the objective. First, if it's content, okay, what we do is you educate your base to receive this type of day or this type of week, the same email, different content. If it's a promotion or a discount, you really have to think in what moment of the customer journey he is. If he just subscribed to your newsletter, does it make sense to make a promotion about the product, or you have to send content before? So it's really important to think about that. Not everyone is ready to buy or purchase your product or your service. Okay, so very important to think of the objective of the email. It does matter is there is something as too many emails. Like I don't want you to send 10 emails per week. That's too much. So you really have to think what's the objective and what do you want the people to do. So something that people really sometimes forget is that an email has to have a direction. So if you send an email, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to purchase? Do you want them to visit your website? Do you want them to call you? So that's very important to have a direction of what you're trying to do. Okay? So I hope it helped and I hope you heard loud and clear.
Raj, is there anything you wanted to say following Gabriela's response? We heard the gist of what it is that she was trying to say. You have to be aware of your objective, and of course, she's suggesting for us not to send 10 emails in a week or in a day, and also that the email marketing should have some kind of call to action that will send you to a website or a social media account, or it is if it's a purchasing that's
You
being
did.
promoted,
You did, Debbie.
purchase that's being promoted, you'll be sent to that platform to make that purchase. I'm hoping that we got that.
I'm just checking if there is any other new questions here.
All right, great. Do we have a question from Shelley and Weeks?
Hi.
Hi, Shelley.
Hi. So Ron, you mentioned before that there are several different platforms to send email from. Maybe you can recommend maybe the top 2 or top 3 that is more effective, but from user friendliness to maybe cost that we can use.
Yes, MailChimp is one, and Constant Contact.
Can I add?
Yeah. And
Mad Mimi.
Mad Mimi, yeah.
Very easy to use.
Yeah, she's a pretty nice lady.
Very, very easy to use. Constant Contact, I think, Ronald, if memory serves me correctly, does have a subscribe. I mean, all of them do, but there's a free option, of course.
Yeah.
But if you want to extend in terms of getting a premium offering so you can send more or add more to the kind of design that you want to do for your.
All mail server offer that. I recommend, as I said, Mad Mimi is one. MailChimp has been one that has kind of pushed towards connecting social media with email marketing. So that one is pretty impressive, and they're adding more to it. So you have GoDaddy email software as well, which I use sometimes, and I have my own email marketing software that I offer to my clients locally. So yeah, and all have different price range. They're all reasonable. It gets more expensive when you start selling more volumes. But for now, you can always sign up for a free account at MadMimi, Constant Contact, MailChimp, and a host of others. There are a lot out there.
Yep, and you can copy the layout and add it to your email and send it to as many contacts as you like.
Yep. And you can embed, all them promote embedding your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter in it. So you find one that you like, that is easy to use. As I said, I'm a little techie, so but as long as you dive in and play around with it, you'll find it very friendly.
All right, great. Do we have any other questions from the auditorium? Yes, we have one over there. I am loving this.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, great.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kadi McPherson. I'm digital marketing trainer at iCreate Institute. This question is particularly for Ronald. Ronald, the industry standards says that email marketing efforts are primarily more effective during Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Now, I'm curious to know, for you in Jamaica, what's the kind of engagement you're getting? What days are more engaging for your email marketing efforts?
Well, that's a very good question, because that's exactly that's my business. Yes, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are decision-making days. Usually, those are primary days that I use to send out emails. I find it more effective, depending on what you're sending. So I find those are primary days. You find the Fridays are very weekdays, because I realized that open rate is very because persons look towards Friday, because Friday people shut down from 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So email checking is become none. Part of the thing I have picked up is that most persons check emails at work, right? And they have different times that they go on and check their mails. For company purpose, companies check the email spike up on a Monday, but they really start making decisions on a Tuesday. Because they take the entire Monday. So if you send an email on a Monday, they're checking emails from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So your mails sometimes may just be kind of get lost in all those mails that they're trying to clear. So when they finish clearing the mails on a Monday, then you find a Tuesday morning the email is more, wow, nice, I'll grab this deal. And usually a final decision if they're going to buy your product is really they're going to buy it on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Ah. All right, Gabriela, do you have anything to add there as to what is the
Sure.
popular days
So
in your
one of
area
the
for
tips
sending
that I
email
could
marketing?
say, okay, so never send an email Friday, Saturday, on Sunday,
Yes, we're hearing you.
unless
You can
it's
go ahead.
it makes sense to your customer, because that's where people are not working, like Ronald said, and they're not gonna open their email. For us, we never send an email on Monday. We send on Tuesdays and Thursdays because, of course, it's decisions day, and we mostly send in the morning, because when you send it at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., people are leaving the office. So what you want is you want to be the first person or the first email that they open. So my tip for the for you guys is to send it there on Tuesdays and Thursdays and on the morning. But also you need to make tests. So if you send in this week on Tuesday, next week send on Wednesday, and see how's the click-through rate, how's the opening rate. So very important to measure your results and start making more experiments. But it's also good once you find the best result, then you need to have a frequency, so people and your audience know, okay, so my company is of shoes and every Tuesday I'm gonna send, so they're gonna get used. Every Tuesday you're gonna receive an email from them. So these are my tips: send them in the morning, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and make experiments on when do you have the best performance. Okay.
All
Sure.
right, Raj, can you?
Yeah, Gabriela added or evaluated the point
or
what
have any
Ronald said,
correction?
except for Wednesday.
Gabriela.
Okay. Uh, the best days are Tuesday and Thursday. And also to follow up on the click rate, uh, you know, sometimes which day works better for us. So we need to identify on that. And yes, her special days are always Tuesday and Thursday. And definitely not on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, adding to it, the emails in the morning.
Ronald, are there anything at all, and Gabriel as well, is there anything at all that we should stay away from that will be too much to digest for a newsletter or any form of email marketing, things that you know should stay away from, that will be considered too much for a consumer?
There's nothing too much. Everything is more in moderation, and knowing your clientele is very important.
So it's okay to load our videos, or load a thing with 3 videos to watch.
Well, if you embed a video into an email campaign, it really depends on what is relevant to the person to read, right? Because it's not like when they open an email, you have that entire real estate to play with. So they can open it, and if they see a lot of things happening, they can either find it more interesting and go through the email more and have a better click-through rate, because you can have a number of links in there, and they can always go back to that email because that email is very relevant. It has a lot of very fruitful content, and so it's very important. But one of the most important thing if you're practicing email marketing is to learn your statistics, right? So when you do the first campaign, just always check your stats to see what they click on, how many click through, if they follow the email, how relevant is the email. And you see the growth in terms of how many persons open the mail and what they click on. So the next time you send another campaign, you're better able to gauge the type of content you put out, because it's really about knowing your subscriber.
Any other questions? Yes, we have one right there. Good.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave. I'm marketing associate at BCIC. All right, so I have two questions. One is with regard to email personalization. I want to know, like, what other best practices would you recommend? I know, Debbie, you mentioned you like when they email you and say, hi, Debbie. I know Gabriela mentioned it's good when the email is coming from the CEO or the CMO, but are there any other best practices that we need to be aware of? And the second one is, how do you mitigate against having a high bounce rate? Are there certain elements that contribute to having a high bounce rate? For example, the email address or the subject. Will things like that automatically make your email go to spam? What are some of the things you can do to prevent that?
All right. The first point is, as I said, it's very important when you personalize a mail, because the person feel more welcome that you took the time out to put together this content. And as I can say, usually when you send a mass email to your subscriber, it tend to come from the head of some department. So it even feel more special that the head of the department actually choose to send me a mail. All right. So those are very good best practice that is in it. Wordy, that is too much content for them to digest. Sorry. For your second point, it's very important to know your subscriber, because bounce rate, there are two types of bounces. You have soft bounce and you have hard bounce. Soft bounce is the person mailbox is full. Like, they don't check it often, so the software just bounce it and say that, okay, the person mailbox is full. Hard bounce is when the email address doesn't exist anymore, right? So how you kind of litigate with bounces, it's very difficult, because persons may change the email and may not check the email as often, but the software that you use tend to clean up that type of database, so your subscriber list will go down. And I think if you get about 3 soft bounces, it's actually taken from the contact list. So your list goes down, so you don't have to worry much about cleaning it up. So it's always good so the software tends to clean it up for you. All right? Yeah. And it covers your, yeah. And in addition, you mentioned about how you ensure that some softwares actually give you a spam rating. My software I use, it can do a system analysis, can analyze the email and tells you what are the keywords that will give you a high spam rate. So you stay away from, the trigger. You can Google it, but there are trigger words that automatically, if Yahoo or Gmail pick it up, they just say, okay, this is a mass mail, So stay away from deals, too much of the fast selling kind of message. Like this great deal, massive deal, get free loan, this free this. Anything that sound like you're trying to grab people's attention too much tend to be spammed. So you kind of make your message very soft and convealing, and just stay away from the traditional spammy words.
All right. Did that answer your question? Yes. All right. Great. Gabriela, I'm hoping that asking you now to chime in won't result in any inconsistency with your connection, but I'd love to hear your perspective. Raj, could you listen in and be ready to
Okay, great. So another good practice that I can tell you,
all right.
besides
So,
being
ahead,
sent the
Gabriela.
email from the CMO or the CEO, is to sign it at the end. You can put the little picture and sign it with your name, with your the type of job you have. And also, what I really do that gets a lot of replies is, for example, I'm a digital marketing company. So at the end, I always finish the email saying, if you have any questions about digital marketing, please let me know. And people really reply. So what I'm saying is, let them know for you to be a trusted company. What you want is to be positioned in your industry. So it's really important for you to be open to any kind of questions. They can turn to customers in a really short time. So another tip I can tell you is to be short on characters with the subject. When you put emojis, you can get a better open rate. So it's really, really important that being really to the point on the paragraph and having a call to action, it's something that you should never forget. Because sometimes when we send a newsletter, we send 5 blog posts and people get confused. And if you start seeing your results, you're gonna see that you don't have a lot of clicks or people didn't open your email. So you have to be really objective with what you want on an email. Okay? Yes.
All right. I think we heard it, right? Yes, we did. All right. Do we have any other questions before I hand over to Raj? If he has any questions, any other questions from the auditorium? No, everybody is clear? So do we believe that email marketing is still a rocking strategic platform? Yes? Yes? Yeah, we agree? Okay, all right.
I would extend my thanks to Gabriela and Ronald. Thank you so much.